And so, you mentioned, that you and Marcus, decided to just go ahead and put out your own projects, especially like comic books and photo books. Let's just talk about a few of them. You have Josie and the Pussycats. You got Skull Kids, Legend of the Black Pandas. How do you and Marcus like collaborate?
Well, it varies a lot now because Marcus has kind of transitioned more into graphic design. He's doing a lot of things as far as trying to change the art structure in the city by infiltrating, kind of becoming the spook that sat by the door and infiltrating. I probably should have said it out loud because now people might be calling him like, yo, you trying to infiltrate? But, infiltrating the other side of the decision-making process and trying to see and be in on meetings and on boards and whatever. He's also doing a lot of mural projects. But what we often do, and what we really used to do a lot back then, is one of us might come up with a story, a concept. We'll talk about it, swap ideas with it, and then we'll exchange the work. He may do part of the story, I do part, or he may do graphic design, I may do illustration, or he may do covers, I do interiors. And we would just swap things back and forth. And that's how we would, keep the structure within our circle of, hey, let's utilize the talents we have so that we don't have to put money outside of the circle. And then when the money circulates back in, it stays within the same unit. You know what I mean? So we would do that a lot with different things. The Josie cover was, anybody that remembers Archie, the old Archie cartoons and all that stuff, like Archie comics. Rebel Base and Archie reached out to me to do a variant in the world of comics. For those that don't know, you'll have a book that comes out with one cover. The comic companies got smart and said, well, how can we make one book sell 20 different times? Let's hire different styled artists to bring different style covers. And then that same book can sell multiple times over. And that's how you get your 20, 30, 40,000 in sales for a book. And so variants are very collectible. A lot of people love collecting everyone that comes out. They were relaunching Josie and the Pussycats. They had just did the TV show. And so they were looking for different artists to do different covers for that #1. And I was fortunate to be, picked to come in and do a cover, which Josie isn't my typical style of work personally. It was an interesting thing that I was considered for it, but it was like, cool, I'm not going to turn down outlets and opportunity. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So yeah. That was one of a few during that time period. Yeah.
What adjustments did you have to make then, since it wasn't your preferred style?
Man, just rethinking, because at the time when that cover was being worked on, a lot of people were coming to me for more or less aggressive, action-packed type things. So it was like, these are 3 women who are part of a band, and there's an energy and action to it, but not necessarily in the way that I would typically approach certain pieces. So it was like, yo, let's kind of do something that has a little beauty, I guess a little grace, but at the same time can show the strength of these 3 women, but doesn't come across in a, oh, they're finna fight type way. You know what I mean? Like that just kind of. So, but the thing with doing these covers too, you don't normally have the final say on what cover goes out. So typically you'll do 2 or 3 sketches. They'll look at those, and whoever runs the company, has ownership, whatever, will pick which one they feel like works the most, and that's the one that ends up being finalized and turned to a cover. So